This means like it is. We're gonna talk about the Fidel Castro and the Kaepernick situation, and I'm gonna bring about the voting with Kaepernick. Now, I agree with the protesting the American flag and the national anthem and all that stuff. But when you sit there and say, "Well, I don't like the election, but I didn't vote," brother, my mulatto brother from another dude who's mixed with a black, white, Native American ain't got a Spanish origin on the Creole side of my family tree, I have to disagree with that. You should have voted. Don't sit here and make stance of, because we got talking about Castro, we have a white racist version of him, okay, next year, which is Trump. So if you had voted and told people to go vote, we 9-10 would not have it. Even though I would prefer you campaign for Gary Johnson, Hillary Clinton, but we could have got somebody else instead of Trump. But let's get back to Fidel Castro passed away, and I'm not like to celebrate, even though I sometimes have that revengeful feelings, especially with personal enemies of mine going away because they're no longer a storm block. But I try to have a silence of heart, and I don't wish death on them, but I'm glad that his powers, due to him passing away, is no longer. Because let me let you know, um, I understand he helped those in Africa, and I'm African descent, and so he was too. Okay, he was Afro mestizo, mulatto, something like that. Okay, he went on, wasn't puro español, so stop saying it. Don't even look it. Okay, um, even Fidel Castro was mixed, but the dude, let me say this: a lot of y'all keep praising because he had friends with those in black nationalist movements, with the black nationalist movement. But I'm a admire and see Mandela as a role model as well, Nelson Mandela, and and all other stuff. And they have capital. He need to do his more education, and it's not quote unquote white so-called Cubans. Those are mixed Cubans who look white. Let's call it like it is, and Cubans who look more black or more ethnic going for Castro. I wish y'all stopped that nonsense because I met people who do look the stereotypical mulatto look and those who look black, darker than me, who have this Fidel Castro. Back in '99 or 2000, there was a Hispanic man who was Afro Latino. 19, of course, mixed with down some Spanish, besides African in his roots, and they were some indigenous as well, because not all natives were killed on the island. And I'm always speaking Spanish to every Latino, even if they look like me, dog, or they look like they're Mexican, Puerto Rican, whatever. I don't care. They're like white. I'm always speaking Spanish, and since I found out one of my ancestors were last name Real, it makes sense. Okay, I didn't know I was Latino at the time, part Latino at the time. So anyway, for my Creole roots, do stay on Louisiana, y'all. Spain on Louisiana, control Louisiana from natives first before the French did, and it's part of our rich race Creole ancestors. But anyway, I will always speak in Spanish because I learned Spanish in high school and I love speaking Spanish. You can tell it's like a yes, the Spanish version of my name. Okay, I love singing in Spanish. I love it. It's in my DNA, and I know that. So, and this Afro Latino brother came, and he's like a Cuban, and I knew he was into Santeria because he had one, yeah. I didn't get involved in no Santeria. I'm not into that. I did a video about that 2 years ago about Yamaya, you know what I'm saying, about Hitler and a review of the video, so I want to go in detail there. But we was talking about Cuba, and it was during the Fidel Castro situation with Elian Gonzalez, and yes, I gave Clinton the side eye when he helped Elian go back to Cuba, okay? Even though I like the things he did, I'm glad we found more detail about Clinton. That's why I vote for his wife. He caused mass incarceration. Okay, Kaepernick, look that up. Okay, 3 sessions out, and wife who's running for president, super president. That's why I vote for her either. Okay, so but this would happen in '94. I'm gonna change the story. Haitians was trying to come here, and I was just like I was for the Cubans. I was for the Haitians come here. I was happy to meet immigrants to come here. And Clinton did not help the Haitian immigrants. So I see why his wife took all that money in Haiti when they had that earthquake. That's why he voted for her, vote for Gary Johnson. And a lot of Haitian people do not like the Clintons. And this is what I can name for it. And even though that they was fighting, going against, you know, the destruction of Castro in Cuba for a refugee of Castro, a Cuban refugee, why you can get the Haitians? They wanted to come here and live a better life too, and Clinton did not let that happen. And so even the sisters from the Black Caucus was arrested for protesting for Haiti. And I took that harsh. And speaking of Creole roots, it could be, because some of the slaves did come from Haiti to Louisiana. It could be DNA. And so when I did not like that. I was 14, 15 years old at the time. I remember that. Um, and then also too when Elia, I was 20 going on 21, and this was the Afro Latino. We were talking about Elian Gonzalez, and I was for Elian as a state here in the United States. And I knew a lot of people who was against it, who are not Latino, especially those who identify as black or who are white. That's identified because we were mixed. We're saying we don't want no more Hispanics here. That was the reason why it was for Elian to go back to Cuba. A lot of folks don't know that. But you had Hispanic folks who are not Cuban were saying he need to be his father. And just like the Afro-Latino guy who from Cuba told me that Castro do not let you raise your kids. Y'all whine about how CPS, I'm against corporal punishment, but CPS trying to tell you not to whoop your kids, okay? You know what I mean? For that, because I'm bipolar, okay? From this situation, okay? In that situation, Castro comes to your house and he take your kids from you. So Elian Gonzalez was raised by his army, not his dad. And that's the reason why. And communism, if you're teaching your child to believe in God, now that's one thing I don't like when the government come in and tell you to believe in him or not to believe in him. And I'm totally against that. That's for me, between me and God, not nobody else. And it's one thing as an ex-Protestant evangelical that I took issue with that. Someone telling me and throwing something in my throat. You don't do that to me. You made me make the decision on because at the end of the day, I'm going to be judged for what I did, not you judged for what I do, okay? Well, Castro's an atheist, you already know that. So he did not believe in God. So you're teaching your kids that God does not exist. And that's not no one's business, until they turn 18 to make their own decision not to believe in him. So a lot of folks don't know that. And he told me that. He said, yeah, Castro take the kids and put them there. So that's what they did. And that's what I was against Jen Reno and Clinton for doing that. And I'm glad I didn't vote for his wife. I vote for Gary Johnson. And so the Kaepernick, Mr. Kaepernick, I mean, please do your research. A lot of Latinos who are Cuban, and it's not just the so-called white ones who mix, who just look like a white person. It's also those who look like you and I. Those your shade, those who are the camera like me, and those who are darker than you and I, who have issue with Castro because of what he did. He did separate families, just like mass incarceration that Clinton started. Let's call it like it is. He did a lot of that stuff. He did some good literacy. Evil person can do good things too. Remember, we all are not perfect people, but the Castro did a lot of that. I have a friend. You might think she's a dark-haired white woman. I thought she was a Mexican, just like, it was very light-skinned, but she's Cuban, and she admitted she had black in her. She just didn't have no, I think her grandma or great-grandma is Afro-Cuban. She admitted on my job. We worked together, and I was telling her, yeah, Cuba's Libre, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Fidel's brother's running Cuba, and I can't stand him either. But even though, and I will get to that, I understand. Batista, who was part Asian, part black, and they call him the little mulatto, darling mulatto lindo. He allowed the United States to come and divide the country. Because remember Jose Ortiz, so we're not black Cubans, white Cubans, or mulatto, we were Cubans. And in Cubans usually Afro-Mestizos because now all the natives died out. You had natives who had babies with the blacks and the white Spaniards. That's kind of like it is, okay? Because I have friends from Cuba who will tell you that. Okay, they don't teach that in school. They don't talk about Mexicans having African DNA, and I knew that by going to the library. Okay, so what happened is, the United States government came in and they had casinos and all that. When Batista was the president, Batista allowed American racist policies come in Cuba to divide the country. So if you're not going about the one drop rule, which I don't go with that either, but you're having people choosing their own identity even though they're mixed, and it caused a racial division. That's why you have a lot of so-called white Cubans who are mixed, Republican when they came here. That is very true. Not all quote white-looking Cubans on the Republican side. You have those who are Democrat too. And I also reason why I take issue to this that people don't understand. And yeah, the Castro was trying to get rid of Batista relationship with the United States, allowing racism to come in and having the casinos and corruption in there. But he went too far with it to the point that he was dividing families and he was hurting people. And even about the things to go for the so-called black Cubans who are mixed have not changed. I saw Black and Latin America. Now, only Mexican Peru, I did see Cuba too, besides Haiti, the Dominican Republic, when it came on PBS. And even that brother who raps, who was Afro-Latino, who was rapping in Cuba, said he couldn't get a job. The son of Castro now, because he didn't look white. Even as a waiter. They used to make us maids and butlers out of it. Even as a waiter. Yes. The son of Castro. So if he did it good for the African people,